We can have Halloween, Halloween on Christmas. Night will wish this never ends. Wish this never ends. Speaking Blink-182 lyrics is kind of funny. We can live like Jack and Sally if we want. We'll have Halloween on Christmas. Welcome to the Anti-George Crone podcast. Today we're getting into, first of all, there's a new camera. I have a new camera set up. Looking up to you guys. Got this cool little placard from YouTube. I got this like 4 or 5 months ago. My mom was more stoked than I was, actually. And it comes with this cool letter, and I hate when I can't place my YouTube placard correctly. It's annoying. So I sent, I'm just kidding. No big deal about that thing. So I sent a letter or an email back to this guy, Greg. There's like a whole letter that comes. It's pretty cool, honestly. And it gave me motivation and inspiration to go into this full time. I mean, I played like 8 instruments. I can do some audio stuff. I can, I'm a scientist. I know a lot about spirituality. I've owned several businesses. You know, it's very interesting that I didn't think that this was a possibility for me. However, and I just made, last night, I made a guy hyperventilate laugh. And for me, that's the biggest thing. I was playing some new music. So that's my voice. My voice is just a little bit shot because I've been singing so loudly, doing comedy music. So we're getting into self today. Perfect segue because I'm just talking about myself. Isn't it peculiar, though, that you're probably thinking this person's talking about himself? He's really talking himself up. To who? To no one in the room? So, isn't it peculiar that you have thoughts that you go, hey, what is this? Am I my thinking? Am I here? We're on this spinning rock right now. And take out politics, all the BS. Like, just contemplate who and what you are. It's really hard to do. And I'm not here to answer existential questions that are that deep, and I don't think we can ever define who we are as individuals, but we can define what we are not. We can use negation, and it actually is very useful and helpful. So the first thing of what you're not, you can't be anxiety. You can't be a depression. Literally, it's so unoriginal too. Contemplate this thought experiment. So millions, I think it's like 4 or 5 million people suffer from depression, and more than that. If you combine anxiety and depression, and people are hospitalized or on medications, I mean, it's a high number. I don't know what it is. I can Google it. But the point is how unoriginal, because the thoughts manifest themselves in depression is like, hey, there is this past embarrassing or shameful moment right now. Everything's dull. I'm just sleeping. I don't have the energy, and there's a shame with it. Anxiety, it's like you're out in public and you're contemplating, how people are going to perceive me. That's so unoriginal. Everyone else is having that same phenomenon. It can't be you. That's what I'm saying. Like, anxiety and depression cannot be you if everyone else has that same phenomenon. So it's not you. It's almost like a parasite that infects the host and convinces the host that it's it. That's literally what anxiety and depression is. So that's what it is. Wow. Yeah. So I just thought of that in real time. All right. 21.4% have depression symptoms in the past 2 weeks. However, rates vary at large. For adults in 2023, 32.3% of adults reported symptoms of anxiety or depression. In 2020, 42.6%, man. 2020, almost half, a little less than half of the population in America. So sad, dude. That is so sad. And it's not even them. That's the weirdest part to me. Self can't escape self. So if you're in the last podcast, I'm like, you go into a million yoga classes. You're trying to seek wholeness. That's a paradox. You're a 10 out of 10. You already are a 10 out of 10. Nothing will change that. So the very fact that you're trying to seek wholeness reinforces the fact that you don't think you're whole. I mean, is that not logic? Is that not logic? The fact that you are trying to seek wholeness through meditation, I got to go to this church on Sunday, I got to do X, Y, and Z for the family to be whole. No, you're already whole. The very fact that you're trying to seek wholeness reinforces the fact that you don't think you're whole. And that's enlightenment. I was trying to explain that in the last podcast. That's pretty simple to me. In Buddhism, thinking is the sixth sense. So you're not trying to listen. You're not trying to hear. I'm not trying to taste this delicious tea that my throat desperately needs. It's just happening, right? So the fact of the matter is the brain, when I was saying earlier, you're not your thoughts, you're not your thinking, I really mean that. Are you your sounds? Are you your... I mean, to some degree, you're experiencing the phenomenons, but that's not what you are. You can't be in anxiety. But self claims a lot of things. Check this. So if you lose your phone, you're probably tight. You're probably uptight about it. If someone else loses their phone, you couldn't possibly care less, because self put ownership on your phone. This is my phone. Oh, this is important to me because it's my phone. This is my microphone. This is my tea. But you don't place it on other people's stuff, and that's the phenomenon of self claiming ridiculous things. My hair, I really need a haircut. I've been growing my hair out. No, I haven't. I haven't. I just didn't cut it. It's all involuntary. So self loves to claim things that... It loves claiming things because it wants to be in the driver's seat. But we all know, if you followed me this far, 7 minutes in, we know we're not our thinking. We're much deeper. So that's where people can take a step back, take a deep breath, and not go into the derailment that self creates for people. And it can be exponentially increased by the drop of a hat if you have a psychopath pulling strings. Hey, the world's chaos. Hey, watch out. The right or left, whatever your political ideologue, thought process is. Oh, it's going to get... Look, it's not going to impact you more than it already has. We went through the worst of it. Things are going to get better, guaranteed. We can't have another pandemic like that. That was insane. I mean, 50% of the world was depressed. At least we're not there, right? At least we can negate the present moment with, at least it wasn't 2020. So there's always a solution to every problem. Tomorrow is always going to be a brighter day. Just hang on, I've lost a lot of friends to fentanyl, to suicide. It's not worth it. But here's a trick. You go, thank you, next. That sounds so dumb. I know it sounds corny. So when you're having these intrusive thoughts, say you have resentment. Say you have anxiety and you're suffering from resentments currently. You're by yourself in your car, but you're not alone. You got imaginary conversations going on with people that aren't there. Beautiful thing about saying thank you, next, is you're separating yourself from the thoughts. You know you're not your thought. You know you're so much bigger than your thoughts. You don't have to attach yourself to them. Common way this happens in the West is if you have an iPhone, you go, this is my phone. So if you lose your phone, oh, now that stinks. I'm growing my hair out. I haven't cut my hair. That's actually it. I'm not growing my hair. That's a biological phenomenon which involuntarily happens. And I'm going bald, by the way. So if I could grow hair, I would. But self even claims I'm growing my hair. No, I'm not. I just didn't cut it. That's it. I just didn't cut my hair. So the strategy of this parasite called self, and of course Carl Jung has small self, big self. Sigmund Freud, and then Carl Jung has the conceptions and different layers, the self, and there's so many components. I'm just talking, if we look at thoughts, if you look at your thinking as I believe my thinking, I'm just highlighting the absurdity that would really come from this. Because for me, if the bank teller doesn't give me my 20s quick enough, I feel like decking her. That's like a thought that'll go through my head. If someone cuts me off, I'm going to take him out of his car and bash his teeth down his throat. I'm not that aggressive, honestly. These are somewhat made up. What's a real thought I have? Oh, I have a chip on my bottom tooth. And I think about that in public, or the other weekend, my girlfriend and I went out to eat, and I was like, I wonder if people notice this. It's very dumb for guys. It's so vague. My chin, when I shave, my chin gets exposed, I get a little bit freaked out. I get insecure. But we're not our thoughts, right? And that's the beauty of recognizing this this selfing, I guess. Like, it's me thinking about me, and then it's going to prevent me from being actually what I am. Because now that's in the backseat, and self is driving. You see, anxiety, depression, whatever the common manifestations are that are so unoriginal, they're driving the physical body and the consciousness. Uh-oh. If you guys hear sirens, I bashed in that dude's teeth after he cut me off, and I stole money from the bank. No, look, this is just important to me because I love comedy, and the best comedy shows, people always feel comfortable. That's the best. And obviously, if you're a pro comic, you can make people laugh during the most uncomfortable moments, like the tyrannical king in old times. The jester would, kind of tell jokes so like people would laugh, and the king's in on it now. And in very uncomfortable times, the best comedians can make jokes and instantly make people feel comfortable. And that's what comedy does. When I'm laughing on stage and I'm genuinely laughing from a bit I'm doing or something like that, and then other people start laughing, that makes me laugh. Now it's contagious. Now the whole room's laughing, and that's the coolest part. And I think the evolutionary psychology behind laughing is like, look, we're not threatening. That's why comedians get no respect. I get no respect. Can you believe I'm the first comedian that gets no respect? Why? Because, look, by nature, unless you're like some comedians are MMA fighters that would totally rock your world. I mean, I'm okay myself, but nothing like a pro MMA fighter. I'm just big. I'm just tall, and I was pretty athletic growing up. But comedians, by nature, want people to be laughing. Some are cynics, but at the same time, they still want the approval. They still want people to like them. There's something about being a comic that's so interesting to me that is somewhat non-threatening. However, you can totally stick the daggers in. I don't like ruining subjects for people. Some comedians can totally do that. So we're going to wrap this up right now. I know I kind of went in a lot of different directions here. The main one I want to hit home is that self, anxiety, depression is literally a parasite. Its strategy, if you will, is to infect the host and make the host believe that it is it. That's a phenomenal way to actually talk about it, because that's what it's saying. Once you realize that you can't be a depression, that the self claims things like the phone. That's my phone. If someone else loses a phone, you don't care. So self-claiming things, it's my depression. No, it's not. 42% of the whole population had it in 2020. That's so unoriginal. It's not your depression. It's so unoriginal. It's literally the parasite convincing the host that it's it. It's phenomenal when you realize, like, you can take a deep breath. You're not your thoughts. You're a 10 out of 10. You came in this world a 10 out of 10. You're going to leave a 10 out of 10. Nothing changes in between. But sometimes this shapeshifter, that manifests itself in resentment, self-pity, mental anxiety, not fear, like I was talking about. It's not fear. It's mental anxieties, depression, self-esteem stuff, pride, said that, financial insecurity. It's very unoriginal. So if it's you're having these thoughts that everyone else seemingly has, how could it possibly be you? So take that with a little grain of salt, I guess, because obviously talking about self is a very complex metaphysical, conceptual endeavor. And, I have science degrees. I've read a lot of metaphysical books, studied Carl Jung and some of the psychologists talking about self, like Sigmund Freud. I know quite a bit about self in that regard, but those were my thoughts, my authentic thoughts on self. Okay? That's cool. Being a comedian, being authentic, talking about something that interests me because people laugh when they're comfortable. Anyways, go be comfortable.